Hi, I'm Rob Matheson from Cunningham's and welcome to this month's Market Minutes. Today I'm with Andrew Lutze, one of our directors of Cunningham's. Andrew, just in a snapshot, could you just tell us what's happening out there in the current market?
Yeah, it's been an interesting time. We've seen a lot of sales come through the ranks, and particularly in the later stages of the winter months as well, because we're progressing into that spring selling preparation now. But certainly there's no lack of buyers out there now. So whilst we have seen prices come down and they have suffered quite quickly this year, like any market, we do reach a baseline, and we're all of a sudden starting to see a bit of competition back in properties again. So we had a sale actually today that had almost 60 groups through that property in the space of about 2 weeks, and that also resulted in 5 buyers independently making offers and competition again on that property. So I think a good pulse of the market is that if you see something you like out there, if you are a buyer, you know, those days of waiting and watching seem to be changing as we're getting closer into the warmer months of spring.
So Andrew, obviously there's a lot of different types of methods to sell your property. In the current market, what would be your recommendation?
It's a good question, because I think on the surface there are lots of different options, and to be honest there's merit in all of them. Whether you do an auction program, you sell prior to that auction, we run a traditional private treaty campaign where you've got a fixed price, or perhaps what's more common nowadays is where people have a guide and they work within a range, or there's the old tender method where people put, close your eyes, put your best bid in. Whichever option, it's obviously specific to that type of property and also the demographic of buyers that you're trying to appeal to. But having a finite period on that is actually still the deadline of an auction is still becoming one of the most popular and the most well sought after campaigns, not only for sellers but also buyers, because it gives everyone certainty and also gives everyone clarity around that process as well. And I think as we lead into some of those particular periods of time where you've got deadlines around October long weekends, Easter holidays, school holidays and ski seasons and so on, people want clarity and people want certainty in the market as well. So having those deadlines are probably what's working best.
So Andrew, there's a lot of talk at the moment around interest rates, a lot of talk about the weather and when is the best time to sell your property. I suppose, what are your thoughts around interest rates and best time to sell?
There's been a lot of conjecture around interest rates as well, and I think the writing's been on the wall for some time around whether rates are going to increase or not and how long are they going to increase for. And no one's got a crystal ball, but what we can see and what we know is true is that what we really want from a selling point of view is your property to look its best. Regardless, the market conditions are what they are and we can't change that. So as much as people think we've got a magic wand, we're just sales agents. But what we do know in this market is that if we can present the property to its absolute best, getting really good presentation internally and externally, then yes, leaning into warmer weather where people's gardens look better, that's naturally going to be a benefit for a seller. On the flip side for that, as a buyer, you really want to be buying when the most amount of property becomes available. And that's typically, we know there's some key months of the year. September, October, November, February, March, April are the key months when the most volume of property will be available for you as well. Now, sadly for that though, there's also a caveat. And we do live in a very popular location, being on the northern beaches. It's a lifestyle driven market. So underlying all of that is a supply and demand issue. And at the moment, when you've got almost 30% less stock trading this year, there's still that challenge, which is why offsetting those rate rises and so on, yes, we'll reach a certain ceiling, a level platform, a baseline, if you like, for where the prices will come down, but then the supply and demand kicks in and we start getting competition again. So I wouldn't be surprised over the next few months if we start seeing key properties in those key locations start to get good activity and stronger prices.
Thanks for your time today, Andrew. If you do want more information, please reach out to the team at Cunningham's and we'd be happy to have a bit more of an in-depth conversation with you.